Welcome to the Kayla Lee Show. We're about to leave behind those old school beliefs and those low vibe limitations that lead you to exhaustion and to burnout as you grow your business. Together, we will explore how you can 2x your revenue in the next 90 days, how you can reclaim back 10 plus hours of your week, how you can rapidly create a multi-6-figure business or a 7-figure business in less than 12 months. Okay, this conversation needs to be had because it's one of the most potent and powerful conversations in our industry for all the powerhouse mamas who are trying to build an empire. And it is mum guilt. In this episode, I'm going to share with you my secret to breaking through, moving through, and evolving beyond the mum guilt that has quite literally left me paralyzed, immobilized, and stopped me from taking bold, badass action in my business because I was so scared of losing the connection that I have with my babies. So let me know. I would love to know. Take a screenshot of this episode, tag me in it if this is one of the biggest challenges that you have in your business as you rapidly grow your business too. Beautiful. Honestly, growing my business has been so challenging, and I never anticipated the challenges to be the mum guilt. The mum guilt immobilized me, paralyzed me, stopped me from taking action, stopped me from desiring the success. Stop me from wanting the growth. Stop me from wanting the success in my business, because in my mind, success in my business meant that I was going to be less present with my babies. It meant that I was going to lose that connection with my babies. And it took me so long to realize that I'm not selfish for desiring to build an empire. I'm not selfish for wanting to go to work. I'm not selfish for having a desire outside of being a mum. As I grew up, my beautiful mama, the first 13 years of my life, she was a stay-at-home mum. She worked at the school canteen, so we've seen her there, but she was a stay-at-home mum up until when I was 13. Do you know the light that I seen in her eyes when she first started working? When she first started working part-time, it was like the sparkle came back. I remember it so clearly. I remember it so fucking clearly. And it really actually started to show me, holy shit, mum has a life outside of being a mum, and holy shit, she has a life and she loves her job and it fucking lights her up. And I'm like, now I see why my entire family are entrepreneurs, because my parents are lit up by work, right? And it took me so long to realize, because in my early years of my life, I had my mum and my nana who were at home with me. And I had them, I didn't have to go to daycare, I went to kindy, and then I obviously went to school, but I'd never experienced having to go to daycare. And so when I had my babies, I felt so much guilt that I even had a feeling inside of me that wanted to work, that needed to work. Like, my brain needs to be active and I need to have adult conversations, and listening to goo gaga, even though I love my babies to pieces, was possibly like rocking backwards and forwards in the corner in an asylum. And I just, honestly, going to work and having that space to be creative and let that freedom flow was really what enabled me to create more balance in my life, so that when I was with my babies, I was lit up by doing activities and making memories with them in what they desired. When I was at home full time and I wasn't working, I really struggled with that isolation. I struggled with not having conversations with anybody else except for listening to goo gaga and tantrums and fighting. And I honestly, I couldn't handle it. I really, really struggled with that. When I launched back into my business after my second bubble was born, a year and a bit after my mama had passed away, I started to feel that spark come back, and I started to feel that spark that I seen in my mum. And I mean, if you've ever lost anybody, you crave that connection to your loved one. And when I felt like I was lit up by my work, and I was sparkling because of my work and that desire to like fucking grow an empire, I felt like I had that connection to my mum in that moment when I remember so clearly her excitement and her joy for fucking climbing the ladder in her business. And it just made me realize I've been so hard on myself because I've had this perception or this belief that I need to be present with the babies and I need to be home with them. I can't work until I'm like they're 13 because that's what my mum did. And I didn't realize that, wow, I can be an incredibly present mum and I can also have a powerhouse empire, and neither or either have to sacrifice. And I'm not selfish for having a desire to build an empire. I'm not selfish for loving going to work and letting my creativity flow. And I'm not selfish for building a team and creating incredible opportunities for them in their desires. I'm not selfish for setting boundaries at work and saying, no, that's out of my work hours, and no, that's when I'm present with my babies because my babies are my priority right now. It comes down to the boundaries. It comes down to the values, and it comes down to your non-negotiables. And I found that my secret to moving through that mum guilt was really tapping into rewiring the beliefs that I'm not selfish for having desires outside of my babies. I'm not selfish for wanting to grow a fucking empire and be lit up by my empire and still be equally lit up by all of those beautiful, magical moments that I'm creating with my babies. What my hack is, my secret to the mum guilt, is setting boundaries. In the previous 2 episodes, if you haven't revisited them, go back and revisit episode 10 and 9, where I share a lot about my tiger time, my time management, my non-negotiables, and my boundaries. The more clearer I got with my boundaries and my non-negotiables and my values, the more incredible it became to move through that mum guilt, because I knew that when I was with my babies, I'm absolutely with my babies. I won't even do the cleaning around the house. I will not even pick up the vacuum. I won't even fold washing. I will not even clean the dishes. I'm absolutely 1000% there present with my babies. That is a non-negotiable. Ask my husband. He doesn't love it. But ultimately, that is my highest value. To me, washing can wait. To me, folding can wait. To me, being present on my days off with my babies, at least for a good solid 30 minutes each of quality time doing an activity or an experience or an adventure that they actually love, I make sure that nobody, no client, no washing, no emails, no business interrupts that, because it's a non-negotiable. Another thing that I create in my world for being a mum is actually creating one-on-one time with my babies for school holidays. It's actually now become a routine, like an experience that they actually look forward to. So we have these dates, right? I take them out on these cute dates and we spend one-on-one time together. It's now like, it's fucking cute. And it really helps me to feel a little less guilty about the fact that I have 2 desires: to be an incredible mum and build an absolute powerhouse empire. This has been one of the biggest challenges in my growth of my business, because the fear of success and that meaning that I'm less present with my babies was quite literally one of the things that held me back a lot in business. And this year alone, I had to make a really hard decision, and it was so fucking hard. I had to choose if I take the leap and have my babies in daycare and school and kindy, like full time, so 4 days, or if I continue struggling with how I was doing in business. Last year was a really rough year for me because I had my babies in daycare only 2 days, and then I had them at home with me for the other 3 days. And I mean, if anybody knows what it's like with toddlers and a baby and a business, it's quite literally impossible to manage anything and have any results and tick any boxes when you've got babies at home with you. It got to a point where my my mental health wasn't great. I was overwhelmed and exhausted. Although I had the systems in place and I had the team to support me, ultimately, when it comes to my business, it's me that needs to create the content. It's me that needs to mentor my clients. It's me that needs to record the modules and expansion. It's like not tasks that you can offload, right? So it got to a point where I was like, wow, my business is rapidly growing and I need to create balance in my world before I absolutely combust from the inside out. And that's where it got to a point where I had to really go within, and I had to really tap into the biggest vision that I have for me and my family and what that means for them. When I had to make the decision to increase their daycare from 2 days to 4 days, that was really hard for me. But what it meant that in the evenings, I'm not working. It meant that on the weekends, I'm not working. It meant that when I was with my babies, I was present. It meant that I was not as stressed. And we all know that I'm like a mood ring. Honestly, I'm like a mood ring. I don't even have to say anything. My face and my energy tell you everything. It's like, I'm so transparent. And honestly, the stress and the overwhelm and the exhaustion that I was at from working so late at night, and also desiring to grow my business rapidly, no matter what it took, in terms of my babies didn't come at a sacrifice, my sleep came at a sacrifice. I was working up until 11 o'clock at night, 12 o'clock at night, just to get the things done because I was so passionate about getting it done and launching the thing and making a fucking empire. And really what it came down to was that I wasn't achieving as much as what I was during the day because I had my babies, and then it meant that like I was almost anticipating them going to bed. I was trying to rush that time away because I was like, can you go to bed? Because I've got so much to do. And I was quite literally living in the future. And it stopped me from being able to be present with them. When I was with them, it was like I was wishing the time away. So really, it got to a point where I was so stressed, so overwhelmed, and I just wasn't even fucking succeeding at my business or being a mum. So through the decision to increase their daycare, I had to increase it to 4 days a week. And honestly, my boundary was that if I increased it to 4 days, my non-negotiables became so rock solid. And it's now changed the way I live my life. I no longer... I was so clear about the fact that if my babies were going to be going to school full-time or daycare, basically full-time, that I was going to cut back on my weddings, which meant that I could be home and we can make, memories and do adventures all together on the weekends. Have you ever experienced this in your world? Has mum guilt been one of the biggest, most crippling, most isolating, most paralyzing experiences, emotions that you've had to move through in business? This has been my biggest challenge, and what has helped me has been being so clear on my values, my non-negotiables, when my hours are, my boundaries for my clients, my boundaries for my work hours, knowing when I'm going to be doing what, so I could be absolutely non-negotiably present with my babies to create these incredible memories. But what really helped me to move even further than that was to look at the bigger vision. Me working, what is that offering? What opportunities is this offering for my babies? I mean, we all know that interest rates are fucking rapidly increasing at this point in time. If you're listening to this episode when it's been released, the interest rates are going wild, which means that the opportunities to take your family on holidays or, do all those extra activities and do all the fun things is rapidly declining. What it came to is that if I'm working, we are still able to go on family holidays. We're able to invest our money. We're able to, create wealth for our babies and their future, their schooling, and send them to all the dream schools that we want to take them to. Education is absolutely one of my most valuable things in life. And so it is important to me that I am able to offer that to my children. So when I started to tap into the vision of not just me in my vision for my powerhouse empire that I'm building, it was actually like, if I tap into what it means for my husband, what it means for my babies, what it means for our future, what it means for the opportunities that we're going to create, the adventures we can have, the holidays we can experience together. Those memories are so fucking important, and they absolutely make a huge difference for building that relationship and allowing our babies to have that experience and those memories with us without the stress of finances. And if I'm working, I'm able to offer them that. And so that's what it came down to, was to actually tap into the vision of the future. And the other thing for me that I found fucking powerful was my husband. My beautiful Papa Bear worked away our entire life, and he was rarely home. He was driving trucks like all the time, and I don't really remember a lot of him being at home. This was one of my biggest things where I craved that my babies would experience what it's like to have both of their parents at home, where work was not the reason, it wasn't the excuse, it wasn't the why I'm not here for your sports carnival. I wanted my babies to experience parents there regardless of what is going on. As in, I wanted to create financial freedom in my family, whereby we can make decisions based on our desires, not what our finances or money story is telling us. I wanted to be able to take them on holidays. I wanted to be able to buy, I've got huge visions. I could go into that. I'm not going to right now because I got a little sidetracked. But my goal ultimately is to create financial freedom in our family so that my husband could be home and be present, so that my babies could experience both mum and dad there at their sports carnival, so that my husband working and needing to work was not the reason why he wasn't available at sports carnivals or any event. I wanted to create that complete balance for both myself and my husband, to create that freedom, and ultimately me working. And when I tapped into that bigger vision, that is what helped me to move through that mum guilt that honestly crippled me for so long. If you're experiencing this, beautiful, I really do want to encourage you to see what becomes available when you're able to provide more money for your family. What opportunities become available? What adventures become available? What holidays become available? What does your most dreamiest vision look like for you and your family if money wasn't a problem? If money didn't determine your decisions or your values or your desires in life, what would that look like? This is what my secret has been to moving through mum guilt. It's about non-negotiable boundaries, being present with my babies and creating financial freedom where we can go on holidays, where we can create memories, where we can have my husband and I both be present for our babies on Sports Carnival, where money does not and will no longer determine how we live our life. The experience that my babies have with their parents and that connection they get to have with us. So I hope this episode has helped you, gorgeous. I would love, take a screenshot, share this, all of the things. I would love to know if this has been one of your biggest challenges as you grow your empire. Thank you for joining me today, gorgeous. If you're loving this episode, it would mean the absolute world to me if you could take a screenshot, share and tag me in all of your socials. I love seeing this podcast reach as many ears because I want to help so many women access more time, more revenue, more growth in their business without sacrifice. This is my absolute goal for this podcast. So don't forget to hit subscribe or follow and leave an epic 5-star review, because for every review, you will receive free access to my Ignite Master Course, which was worth $2,991. So Ignite was a 3-hour business growth conversation to help you overcome your challenges, accelerate your business, and implement strategies that will help you to access more revenue, more time, and more growth, and help you to create the lifestyle and business of your dreams in the next 12 months. For every review, I will send you through access for Ignite Master Course. This is insanely epic. So once you've left your review, send me a DM with the word Ignite and I'll send you through your discount code so you can access Ignite for free, gorgeous. Thank you so much for joining me, and I shall see you in the next episode.